The following commentary is for entertainment purposes only. The opinions shared aren't personal, often said in jest, and have no merit in the real lives of the cast members. With that being said, let's binge, let's banter, and most importantly, let's move on. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie. For those who don't know me, reviewing Love is Blind UK, Season 2, Episode 1, and only Episode 1, okay? Keep your comments to Episode 1 alone. Thank you very much. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. So we're going to start with Ashley. Ashley's the first girl in the pods. She has struggled in dating because she's an air hostess, which makes it hard to find love.
I feel like I'm quite lucky in life, but I've been very unlucky in love.
I'm from a place called Bangor in Northern Ireland. I'm actually in the army, so I'm so used to travelling around.
I was in the Army Cadets. Combat Barbie was my nickname for a while in the cadets. So you've been in the military all your life?
I was in the Army Cadets as well.
Oh my God.
So she and Billy initially connect on both being in the Army Cadets. They have animals and they both have like a similar sense of humor, which is great and all. However, her biggest hangup has always been that her job takes precedence in her life. In her life. And so how was she able to navigate finding somebody to marry while that job is still in the equation? At least that's the question that I have. And that's going to be a question that Billy has throughout both episodes, both episode 1 and episode 2. She's like, oh, I want somebody who's respectful and who's honest. And I'm thinking, damn, it is so rough out here that we have to ask for respect and honesty. Basic principles. But anyways, he is honest and he says that he was previously married before. Unfortunately, they did drift apart. He says that they were both in the army, but when they got together, they weren't in the army. They were in the army after the fact. And they just became passing ships after a while. So they're both going to have to work on being present in their relationship. If you have a tendency of drifting away from people, because it has happened even outside of just his ex-wife, and then she struggles to focus on a relationship because of her job, y'all might run into some problems. They later have a date where they talk about what their needs are regarding intimacy, and they both agree that physical touch is very, very, very important for the both of them. Billy says that the chemistry between them was electric. However, he's kind of hesitant to put all his eggs in one basket. We're not quite sure why that's the case yet, because we haven't even seen him go on any other date, but he does open up later on why he's, you know, a little bit, he's approaching it with some trepidation. They both get emotional when they talk about their family. So she experienced her parents' divorce when she was 16 years old. And so she had to step up at a very early age. She was helping with the bills as a teenager. She was helping pay rent as a teenager. So that did a number on her. She says that she's looking for somebody to finally look out for her when she's been the one looking out for everyone else. I think she says she's the oldest of 4. So yeah, she had to step up really early on. For him, he gets emotional talking about his dad's different ailments over the years. He says his dad is his superhero. He loves him very much. But you can kind of start to see that like he tends to get a little bit more emotional. She will like empathize, but she doesn't get as emotional as he does. So it'll be interesting to see that dynamic as well. We meet Sophie, and Sophie immediately proves to us that she might not be this little sweet Barbie doll that she looks like she is. And when she starts grilling these men, I'm like, whoo, Sophie don't play.
They ever think I'm like this little sweetheart, or they think I'm a bit of a cow.
I got a cat.
I'm just really not here for that.
I just live at home, me and my mum.
I'm obsessed with dad jokes.
An old woman asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her over.
Why did the skeleton cross the road to get to the body shop?
I'm one of 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
1 of 5. Do you want kids?
Yeah, I want kids.
I want to, although I'm open to negotiation.
I actually think I'm a well-rounded individual. What are your red flags? I don't let people in so easily.
Her little stank face is gonna get her into some trouble. And I'm saying this as somebody who also has a very expressive face. Even if we have a lot on our mind that we're deciding not to say, your face is gonna tell on you every single time. This girl's gonna have to learn how to use her words because her face is gonna get her into some trouble. I already know it. So she's talking to Kieran. Kieran says that he came out of a 7-year relationship a year ago. And even though he loved her, he feels like he's never experienced like a deep connection with somebody. And I'm just like, 7 years. You're with that lady for 7 years and you've never experienced like a really deep, true connection. So I was getting a little bit worried for Miss Sophie, but Sophie's like, yeah, it's basically the same over here. She was in a 5-year relationship and she shares that sentiment. And I'm thinking, okay, these two both seem to be quite emotionally unavailable. We'll see if they'll be able to work through that. And then they were just going through things as if it was a checklist. Like they're in a business meeting. And honestly, they even made reference to them kind of like doing business later on. It's just like, oh, do you want kids? Okay, cool, check. Do you want this? What kind of marriage do you want? Okay, perfect, done, done, done. I was just like, yes, they do match on paper, but like, that's all it gave, a paper relationship. Where's the passion? Where's the romance? Where's the vulnerability? You know what I'm saying? It is the first day, but that's going to be a theme with them throughout these episodes. Kieran also had a date with Megan. If you watched my cast reveal, you know I did not like Megan's jacket, but that was the only thing about her that I didn't like. Everything else, Megan, she's that girl. I like her.
Professional dancer and a fitness instructor.
I've got hips that just don't lie, honestly. Like, my job is actually in the gaming world, so I'm an entrepreneur. I'm actually a massive nerd. Do you want to build a family? Like,
Yeah, definitely. And I'd also love to adopt.
I'm open to the adoption thing. I've not really put much thought into it, to be fair.
Even though Megan and Kieran were like down to business, kind of similar to him and Sophie, like he just wants to get that preliminary stuff out of the way. Do we match, yes or no, so I can move around? It felt more genuine. It felt more organic. It didn't feel like there was a checklist. They were both just trying to, check off. I like it. I really do like it. They have a great chemistry. He's a little bit, torn because Sophie captures his attention more immediately than Megan does. Megan likes the fact that he's a nerd. She was eating that right up. I don't even think Sophie knows that he's a nerd to begin with. But yeah, I favor his connection with Megan for sure. He says that Sophie did stand out, but he is like still intrigued to explore both connections. He can't really put his finger on Megan quite yet. They both talk about what they need in terms of intimacy and stuff, and they say that eye contact is so important. That like nonverbal communication, it builds sexual tension. Like that's what they both need. They are also keen on exploring the physical side, of course. As he's talking to Sophie, he says that he's struggling to get more out of her. And she says it's because she's very scared of getting hurt. The only person who truly knows her is her father. And outside of that, people don't really get to see that deeper side of her because she's terrified of getting hurt. Baby girl, you're trying to get married. This is not the time to be cryptic. We then meet Patrick, who's very much so into the woo-woo, right? He is an acquired taste. If you ask me, he's an acquired taste, especially to the women in the pods, because this man is going in talking about, I trust my spleen. Baby, just say you trust your gut. I don't know why you're making things complicated.
I'm very spiritual and just following my spiritual journey and my energy.
I have this thing where I follow my spleen.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of that before?
No.
I'm a human design coach.
Oh.
I use spiritual system called human design.
Okay, this is a lot to write.
We call it a splenic awareness.
Splenic awareness. I'm learning new words here. I am a Christian.
Yeah, right.
Like, I do pray.
I was raised Christian, Catholic actually.
Okay.
Baby, Anu was just as confused as I was when this man said, I'm a human design coach. Now, y'all in the comments, y'all did this man dirty saying that basically means he's unemployed. He says he's a life coach. Human design coach is the first time I've ever heard that term to describe life coach, but okay, sure, whatever. They have similar upbringing in terms of them having like shared beliefs, like Christianity and stuff. I think he said that he was Catholic growing up, and I know there's this controversy, are Christians Catholic? I'm not doing that, okay? He is raised Catholic, she says Christian, doesn't really elaborate on that, right? This to me is going to clash because like, yes, he was raised that way, but he's very clearly into like a different type of spirituality where she says that, she does her daily devotions all the time. They pray as a family. She really is led by the Holy Spirit and stuff. So are they going to connect on fundamental beliefs? I don't know. She is, however, very receptive. So there could be potential there. She's not shutting down anything that he's, presenting to her at this time. These two later have a date where they talk about heritage and stuff. So she is fully Nigerian. He is half Nigerian, half Jamaican. I think it is his dad his dad is Nigerian. And so this like free-spiritedness actually comes from his mom. They both say that, in Jamaica, things are a little bit more lax than they would be in Nigeria. She talks about her mom's immigrant experience and things that she would do back home and stuff. And he can relate because in year 7, I think he said he was 12 years old, he actually spent a year in Nigeria. So all the things that she's saying that her mom did, he's like, yeah, I did that too. I resonate, whatever. She was so excited. It's good to see that they do connect on some things. I mean, she's relating it to her mom. It's not her personal experience. So I would like to see them talk about each other more. It felt like it was focused on beliefs and heritage, but not like, this is who I am as a person, this is who you are as a person, are we compatible? I didn't really get to see a lot of that. He does say that he's not used to being with somebody who is so fiery, but he is intrigued to get to know her more. Next that comes to the pods is Sarover. She typically only dates Indian boys because of her strict upbringing. However, if she wants to find something different, she's gonna have to try something different. And that's why she's coming into the pods being very open-minded.
Sarover, nice to meet you, Sarover. That's a lovely name, Matt. Been single for a year and a few months.
Yep.
The next time I get with someone, I want it to be my wife. Like, I'm not messing about anymore.
Oh my God, that was amazing.
That's a 10, that one. 10? I wrote 10 in the book there, mate.
Cal is a lot more traditional than I initially thought he would be. In his little bio, again, that's in the first impressions video, I'm not going through all that again, he just seemed like an F-boy. He truly did. But here he's like, oh no, I'm very domesticated. I'm very close with my grandmother and my mother. You could call me a mama's boy if you want to. Like, he really is breaking past the stereotypical look that he has. Some of the ways that he was speaking though in his bio, that's what gave me F-boy. It's not even how he looks, but no, he says he's very family oriented. He wants to build a family. Like, he wants that wholesome type of lifestyle. So I guess we'll just have to see it to believe it. In their next date, she says that she struggles with change, which really came to a head when her parents got divorced. I think she was 18 years old. Yeah. And then he says that he has had to learn to adapt as well because his brothers have just been through a lot. One brother was in the army, and so you could only imagine what kind of adapting you'd have to do with that. And then the other brother struggled with substance abuse, so much so that he almost lost his life. And then once he came out, he completely changed his life, and he's on a good track now. So he's like, honestly, I haven't even been through half the things my brothers have been through. Let me value my life. Let me do the best for myself and for my future family. And so yeah, they both kind of relate to that whole like life can be tumultuous and it's just about how you deal with those things. He also can relate to a family being broken because I think his parents also divorced when he was 18. They did have humble beginnings, but they didn't want for anything. They both value family a lot. She gets very emotional when she talks about her family. He doesn't get as emotional as maybe somebody like Billy, but he does resonate with her. The only issue, she's Indian and he's half Pakistani. Now, the history between India and Pakistan is very, rough. So he's concerned that her family won't accept him. So it seems like he knows that there's absolutely no issue. She, on the other hand, is a little bit unsure. Initially, though, she does say, "Oh no, it'll be totally fine." But as we see in episode 2, it might be a little bit more contentious than she may think. That's something that they'll just have to discover on their own. At the end of the episode, we see Billy say that Ashley is his clear winner. I'm so intrigued to see who else was connecting with Billy for real. I don't feel like they were, but he doesn't want to fully give himself to Ashley yet because he does have a concern about something. We're not told what it is because they leave us on a cliffhanger. So we'll have to see what happens in episode 2. Again, leave your comments only for episode 1. Nobody likes a person who comes and spoils in a non-spoiler environment. If y'all want spoilers, there are channels that do that. This ain't that one. So with that being said, as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.